sports fans. This is the Dog H. Weber with another edition of Weber on Sports Express here on FingerLakes1.com. Hope you had a nice weekend. Got a special guest in the studio this morning, Danny Lee, the son of Charlie and Linda Lee. Live in Waterloo. Of course, Charlie, the owner of the Deluxe Restaurant. Danny, a senior at Waterloo, has got visions of becoming a broadcaster maybe down the road. Hopefully not too good, so he won't be taking this chair in the next few months. Good to have Danny with us. Well, let's start off by going to Farmington. Yeah, the site of Finger Lakes Racetrack. I'm going to be talking about racing to start the show. Last Friday, a horse in the fifth race, one named Twinkle in His Eye. Why is that important? Why does it make the opening segment of the show? Because the trainer's name is Chris Englehart. And with that win by Twinkle in His Eye, Chris Englehart recorded his 3,000th training victory. 3,000. John DeVilla Jr. was the jockey. What's the importance of 3,000? 3,000 training victories at Finger Lakes Racetrack by Chris Englehart, and of course he's done it at other tracks besides Finger Lakes, ranks him 25th of all time in North American racing history. Pretty impressive. So if you're into betting the ponies, I don't urge you to do it either way, but if you want to take a $20 bill and go to Finger Lakes and bet a deuce on each race, on the top of the program in each race, you'll see the trainer's name. If you see Chris Englehart, throw your deuce on that horse, because based on 3,000 victories, you got a better chance of winning. Chris Englehart, 3,000 training victories. Amazing. You know, recently, the last several days, we lost two fine gentlemen. One out of Dundee named John Ballard, and a good friend of mine out of South Seneca named Jack Guinan. The passing of Mr. Ballard and Mr. Guinan, certainly sad as it is, because these were not only great coaches in their world of sports, they also were great gentlemen. They also fostered many young people who admired Mr. Guinan and Mr. Ballard as years would go on. 27 years at Dundee as a football coach, Mr. Ballard. Over 50 years of service for Jack Guinan. What impresses me about both of these gentlemen, I knew Guinan better than Ballard, was the fact that kids looked up to him. Because not only was he concerned about winning on the gridiron or on the basketball court, Jack Guinan and John Ballard were worried about kids, and they would work with kids. If they were a bad kid when they first met him, they turned him into a good kid. If they were a good kid when Ballard and Guinan met him, they turned out to be a real good kid. My bottom line is, the passing of Mr. John Ballard and Jack Guinan are sad for the people that remain. But let me tell you one thing. We don't know if we're going to go to heaven or we're going to go to hell. But one thing's for sure, Mr. Guinan and Mr. Ballard will be sadly missed, and they got VIP treatment in heaven. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Well, it's time in my show that I always talk about A.J. Burnett. It's like myself and Mary, my wife, watching The Young and Restless and The Bold and Beautiful. The ongoing soap opera. What's wrong with the wacko? What's wrong with the Yankees? Why they don't cut their losses and get rid of this bum? Yes, they owe him $30 or $40 million on a ridiculous $82 million contract they signed a few years ago. I think he's in his third year of 5, making almost $16.5 million. Well, let's flash back the other night, playing the Twinkies out of Minnesota. A wonderful start for AJ. Pitched an inning and 2/3 inning, gave up seven earned runs in an inning and 2/3. 61 pitches, if you're keeping track at home. By the way, the ERA for AJ for the month of August, 7.56. The highest in the history of the New York Yankee storied franchise. AJ Burnett. Do you think he goes like this when he gets his check every couple of weeks? Give me a break. Cut your losses, Yankees. Get rid of the bum. Just release him. He's worthless. He can't beat Mother Teresa. It's getting ridiculous. One person that can beat Mother Teresa is Curtis Granderson. What an outstanding MVP year this young man has had. Of course, they got it from Detroit a couple of years ago in a great trade. Curtis Granderson setting another Yankee mark, plus 30 home runs, plus 10 triples, and plus 20 stolen bases. And we're only in, what, third week of August? Phenomenal year by the young man, Curtis Granderson. And speaking of wacky things to say, let's go to the Mets. And I pick on Danny Lee's parents, who are Mets fans. I call them the Mutts. Now, the Mutts get swept by Milwaukee. No big surprise this past weekend in New York. What a shock. The Mutts, as I do this Weber on Sports Express, are what, 24, 25 out? Who's counting? They're worthless. But their manager, Terry Collins, gets hired, and he says at the beginning of the year, we're going to be a contender. Really? How do you spell contender, Terry? You get swept by Milwaukee. The other night only proves how ridiculous Clown is. Belongs in the Barnum & Bailey Circus arena, not the baseball field. After losing and down to Milwaukee 7-1, the Mutts score 8 unanswered runs to take a 9-7 lead. Can their bullpen hold it? Not a chance. The Brewers tied up 9-9. The Brewers win 11-9 in extra innings. In the post-news conference, Collins was asked about the loss. Collins goes, and I quote, "Yes, we lost a game, but tonight we took some positives from it." May I do my Affleck commercial? Please, impersonation. Huh? What positives can you get out of losing a baseball game? Let me tell you something, folks. Double six dog here, 66. It's either a W for win, an L for a loss. This guy definitely belongs in the circus. Well, World University basketball competition in China. Go USA, go USA. We lost to Lithuania. What? Lithuania? That's something you get on the side when you're ordering food at the Deluxe. How do you lose to Lithuania in basketball? I can see losing to them in chess, but not in basketball. But we somehow lost. That's sort of an embarrassment as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to wrap up this show, I want to remind everybody, don't forget the Dog and Paulie podcast, broadcasting every Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're going to go to edition 4. We're going to have some fun. We're going to get Paul to get out of his shell, though. He's too quiet. Just kidding. Paul will do great. And I know that you can't wait for this preview next Monday, a week from today. We're going to be here, and I'm going to have the Zuzu staff in. Sunshine People's the owner, Chrissy the baker, not the candlestick maker, and Angelina, I call her Waldo. They'll all be here next to me. We'll be talking about their business, we'll be doing some sports items, and I'll be wearing myself a little poncho. Why is that? Because I'm going to take some self-induced pain for taking advantage and ripping the Mets and ripping the Bills and ripping everybody apart. Next Monday, I take a pie in the face. You don't want to miss that, do you? Check us out. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for Danny Lee to check out the show today. That's a look at sports my way.